up there, it was supposed to say Pain and Hurt title, and it has somebody there. It's okay. I love the picture anyways, but we'll, for a whole nother day. So yes, I'm Joshua, Korea's husband. That's who I am. You want to call me that. Father of 3 beautiful children who are all sound asleep. Hopefully they don't disturb us. I don't care. It's family, kids are important. So good morning, everybody. We're missing our third horseman today, Tim, but he is on the line right now, so he is at home. He doesn't feel good. He has a cold.
Oh, hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim. He will be on the chat room in the live stream, chatting with everybody as well. He actually commented he's seen Tim McBain. So if you see him comment and stuff like that, he is talking to you. He is part of the third horseman. We'll get his voice and stuff. I would love it if he's listening right now. Do you give us your something about you, about the topic today, loneliness, the pain and hurt of being lonely. It could be, diminishing relationships and things like that cause you to feel lonely, because I think that's important. So if you want to go ahead and chat that one up, Tim, that'd be awesome, because I think we're going to share our experiences. We're going to talk about that and everything else. Well, and Tim says howdy. Howdy. How's it from Toy Story, the shark with his hat, but Toy Story 2. No, it's a shark, a squeaky toy shark. He goes, howdy, because he has his hat, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
Bruce is from Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's
Bruce the
right.
shark.
Oh.
And Bruce is named the shark in Jaws. They nicknamed it on the set Bruce.
Yeah.
That's why they call it Bruce in Finding Nemo, to reflect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I am a big movie buff, and my wife has turned into one too.
I'm an aspiring movie
and stuff. So we want to talk to you today. We're continuing our topic. If you do not know, we put a poll a couple of weeks ago asking people what kind of topic they want to talk about, and overwhelmingly over 80% was pain and hurt. And so what we did was we put together some topics, including pain and hurt, and we're going to talk about. Last week we talked about losing a loved one, what it's like. I think the main thing we got out of that was it's okay to grieve. He grieves with you. He loves you. He's not turned off by your feelings of losing someone. He's hurt that they passed on to as well, and he's with you through the whole thing. And I think it's some of the main things. But we go check it out. It's part of our podcast. You can go, if you're on Facebook, you can go to Facebook videos, to the Facebook page of videos, or you can go to Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all those crazy things. And you can just type in Forever Grace and it comes right up, and it'll be right there. Today we're going to talk about loneliness and the hurt of that, the pain and hurt of that. I think we got a couple more topics. We're going to talk about discrimination and being a victim, victimization as well, being a victim. We also have divorce. Lost childhood, divorce. And we had another one which I had idea for. And it's basically, I haven't put together the words yet, but it's basically about not achieving your goals in life and not being where you want to be.
Yeah.
And the pain and hurt of that. Dreams, all that stuff. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big one. That's going to be our finale. We kick it off finale-wise with that. I think that's really cool. I think it's really cool because I think what comes out is us talking about that. Hopefully that brings healing to hearts of all of us together. But today's topic, again, is loneliness. And hopefully Tim, he said, okie dokie, he's going to be writing up his. I encourage you to write up your story. Maybe you're dealing with some being hurt and the pain of being alone. Maybe you're alone, but maybe there's people there. Maybe you're married and you feel alone. That can be anything. It's not like you're physically alone, but you could be emotionally alone. You could be mentally alone. All of that.
There's a misconception. If you're around a lot of people, you have a lot of friends, you can't be lonely.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can't be unhappy.
So we encourage you, if that's you right now, where you're at, we encourage you to share. We had, I can't remember her name, Vicky? Was it Vicky last week?
No. I want to say Jean, but I'm not.
No, it's not. No, it's way off.
No.
That's way off, but it's okay. But we had her sharing. She was sharing a lot about losing her dad and her sister and stuff. I thought that was great and talk about that with her, and was able to include it. And that's what we want. That's why I got the live stream up here on the phone, so we can then go through and respond to questions and include your stuff into the conversation. So as always, I'll be the guinea pig of the whole thing. I'll kick it off. Loneliness is a big thing that we all deal with. I think, like you said, I think it's a misconception of we think the loneliness is if you're just by yourself. But I've noticed that it could be either by yourself or in the midst of group surrounded by people, and you still yet feel lonely. Because I think I've had my journey has really focused a lot on that, and it's funny because I'm gonna give two stories, and one is before I really got to know Jesus, and one is kind of current. I would say, and I actually encourage you, if someone is current, to talk about it. It's okay. We don't have to talk about it after we overcome. It's great to talk about it while you're in it, because you can have support, you can be encouraged, and you can have people come together and build each other up while we go through it. For me, I remember, I think it was 2007. It was I would say one of the most loneliest times of my life. I was single, I had a townhome off of, I can't remember the road. It was by Lower Lakes. I know that apartment community. I am being asked to leave my job because Verizon decided to cut jobs, and I happened to be on the chopping board and got chopped. I remember, man, it's like when that happened, like people would start leaving me because I was the one, like, man, I would be the spend the money dude. Like, if we're going somewhere, I'm gonna make sure everybody's taken care of. This is me. When I didn't have the job anymore, of course the income's gone, and was super conservative about my money, and people end up not hanging around me much anymore. And it was really lonely and depressing because I went through so much, like by myself physically. I remember there was nights that in the middle of the night, because I couldn't sleep because I just hated feeling alone, I would go for walks in the middle of the freaking night. And I'll be talking to myself. I think that was one of the big times in life, and the people, you can make fun of me all you want to. I don't care. I would talk to myself so much because I wanted to have a conversation with a human being and be able to talk how I felt. And I think that's another thing. There was people that I could probably talk to, but there was no one there willing to allow me to express my feelings.
Or really listen.
Yeah, and I felt alone. So I would go on these walks and just talk to myself. Now, if you were walking down the street or you had your doors open or windows open, you heard somebody talking to themselves, you would have thought I was crazy. But I was lonely, and I wanted to be able to express myself. And all that, there was no one there who really wanted to allow me that opportunity, and it sucked.
Yeah.
I think that was really hard. That was probably one of the loneliest I ever felt in my life. And it's a cool story I'm going to bring up a little bit later with it. Hopefully he reminds me about it if it's needed. With that, but I would bring some of the current, like for us together. One of the hardest things has been people ditching us. They think this is crazy. They think we shouldn't be able to do this stuff, certain things, and it sucks because you have friends who are always there close, and it's pouring that rain outside. Close, and they just walk away from you, and that feeling of the hurt of now being alone, like you lose that relationship. And being alone in that, it hurts. And I think that's a lot of what we've been going through. Like ever since we've been really getting into what we've been doing with the Facebook, if you want to say ministry, yeah, that happens. And I think sometimes like there's a lot of people who commit suicide off of feeling lonely. And I this has really hurt because there's been relationships. Now I'm not gonna say there has been some relationships that's really prosper in the midst of this. And I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about the pain of that. It hurts. Like there's times like, like me and you, we love to go out with people. We love to hang out. We love to do stuff. And I remember like switching, even when we came out and just did this. Like all those people who are around us just like turned their backs on us.
Yeah, it's been very challenging.
And it's been challenging in the last 5 years. I think it's 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long we've been doing it. It does not matter how long. Personally.
Yes. Some would say, well, you answered the call to ministry, and that's what happens. So suck it up. Deal with it. When you're doing the Lord's way, then that's expected. So suck it up. But that's another discussion in itself.
But I think that dismisses the hurt.
Yeah.
Because
like a human being.
Yeah, because we both know this, and I think we can realize this: sin is the destruction of relationship. We think it means something. What it is choosing for yourself what's right and wrong for a relationship. And when we choose that, we're hurting relationships. Relationships hurt. Like when they are damaged, it hurts. And when people run away from you, turn their backs on you, that freaking hurts. And I think, like you said, I think the biggest thing is just suck up. It's ministry. No, I'm a human being, and it hurts. When relationships get broken, or somebody decides they don't want to have a relationship with you, that hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, it flat out hurts.
Yeah, I don't care how thick your skin is, or how you try to, put it out, portray it, but
yeah,
things will get to you.
Yeah.
It'll hurt. You're a human being. If you don't feel pain or hurt, I question if you're even living.
Yeah, and that's huge. Stuff hurts, man. And Tim brought up a good point here. He was saying, what about feeling loneliness because of losing a feeling of connection with God? That's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's what I believe we go through that all the time. We have a feeling like we're no longer connected.
Yeah.
And that could be multiple reasons. And the biggest thing that people usually will say, because you sin. Not always. It could be just, I woke up this morning and I don't feel the connection. Like,
I don't feel much.
I don't feel him here. I don't feel that connection. I don't feel that. And I think that's a third part. And I think it's loss of feeling a relationship here, but then not feeling it here either. And it sucks. I mean, we can talk about that too. There has been times in my life, it didn't feel like, where is he at? Especially when you're dealing with the hurt of here, it really affects this.
Yeah.
Because we had that question. I think you brought up. You questioned a lot because you were like, we lost some really good friends that just like stopped talking to us. And
even we could.
Yeah, and it hurt. It hurt. And then like it was like you questioned him. Like, where's he at? And then I think there's a valid question to ask.
Yeah, and you start to even question like what the desires you have and what you're doing.
Yes.
And stuff like that. I'm gonna back up a little bit. For me,
go ahead.
The feelings of like loneliness started when I was really young, because I pretty much grew up as an only child. Mm-hmm. Even though I have three half sisters, they lived in a different state, and they have a different mother. Mm-hmm. But feeling like playing with myself, and I kept to myself a lot. I didn't talk. Yes, I spoke, but a lot of stuff I internalized, and I just and I think one of the good things that came out is I learned to observe more, learned to listen more, but yeah, and I remember some childhood friends I had, and I would play with outside, and even there was one particular boy who would come over the house around the same time, like it seemed like every day. And one day he didn't show up, and he accidentally committed suicide. He accidentally hung himself with the window drawstring, with the blinds. So it was hard to process. Like, I look back now and I can see, like, I don't think I fully expressed how I felt about that, because I don't think I quite understood. And I think I was like 5 or 6 when that happened. But when it hurts when you don't have someone to express things to, because you can tend to just keep it within you, and that makes you feel like you're by yourself and nobody understands you, because you may not know how to express.
I would say this, I think you're 100% right on that, because we connect when we express. There's a connection. People want to talk about sex, how there's a connection in sex, because you're expressing. And I think in those moments of not being able to have somebody there to express how you feel and stuff like that, there's no connection, and it feels like crap. And that can also, let's take that up a notch. We could even feel like if we express to God, like He doesn't hear us, and then that makes us feel like He's not here, and that sometimes makes you feel alone, and it hurts. And I think you're absolutely right. You learn how to listen. I'm the same way. I was shy growing up. I was close to my brother and stuff. I learned how to talk to my mom about stuff. So but I was shy. I learned how to observe people. But more that I got to be around people, more that I wanted to connect. When, like I said, that year sucked, because there wasn't people around that I can actually talk about stuff. And the people who was around didn't want to hear that crap. It was like, suck it up, shut up, you're not a man. And that just made me not feel connected. And it made me feel lonely. And I was trying, I remember so much that came out of that. I was trying so hard to find a girl to be connected with. If that means just having sex with them, that meant a connection, I would do it. Like, I didn't care. I want to connect. Felt lonely. And I think that happens, and we want to talk about, like, you're in that moment, like, somebody look at me just from the outside and go, you're just trying to get sex, you're having all this stuff. But there's a reason. It's because I want to feel connection.
Yeah.
And we look at people, and it's funny how loneliness, the hurt of feeling lonely, of being alone at times, and even feeling like you're not connected with Him, it draws us to do stuff. And it's so easy just to say, stop doing that. But there's a reason, because I feel alone. And you're not able to express that properly. It was interesting, because talking about not feeling connected with God and feeling alone, I remember there was a point in relationship with Him, I felt like that very strongly. I felt like, where are you? Mm-hmm. Where are you? I think we were engaged at that time. And there was a moment there, like, you're gun-ho for God. And then it comes to the point where
because you got a good thing.
Yeah. And there comes a point where it's just like you hit a wall. And it felt like He wasn't there. Like, where are you? I guess I didn't confess my sins. And I tried to confess my sins and try to do all this stuff. And He still didn't feel like He was there. And I remember it was one night, and we had gotten off the phone, because we do a lot of Skypes. We used to do a lot of Skypes, because we live about an hour away from each other. Mm-hmm. And I was starting to rest, actually getting ready to go to sleep. And I just heard Him tell me. And it was like this remembrance of that time of just walking down the street at night, because I was lonely, and I was just like talking to myself. And it was like, it just came up, like that vision came in my head of it. And I just heard Him say, man, I enjoyed that with you. Like, I heard everything. Yeah. And that, I remember I started crying, because I thought I was literally alone, but He was there with me, listening to me. And it reminded me, it was like, in the moment, I was like, you're still here. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful to me. That helps so much. Because even in times like this, there's moments it's like, where are you? Are you even here? And he's like, I'm here. And I'm here. You know, and I remind him, it's like, you know, he was there. Like that darkest moment of feeling lonely, he was there, listening to me. And I'll tell you that, I'll be real, that inspires me to be around others, people. When I see them lonely, like I start telling Grace, I think when we go to playgrounds, look for the loneliest kid and ask them if they want to play. And you start looking for those people, to me, and stuff. To me, that's just, it starts to inspire you, not like he's there with me. So I want to go be there with somebody.
Yeah. I want to ask this question, and one of the reasons why I asked this is because I look back, growing up, I was teased in school, teased and bullied, and
Isn't that a lonely feeling?
gosh, like, my goodness, yes. And I even in turn kind of took that and kind of lashed out in different ways because of how hurt I was from being teased and bullied. But like you know me, I like to express creatively. I'm an artist. So, and I was even made fun of for being talented. When that happened, I just shrink back. I try not to show too much. I try not to express creatively. You know, I don't want people to think I'm showing off. You know, so I kept a lot of that stuff back. But anyways, can someone be susceptible to being alone, to feeling lonely? Can someone, because of maybe how they are as a person, like what's in them, is there something within them that will bring on loneliness? Is it about what's going on externally?
I would say this. Can some people be okay with being alone? Yes, I would say that, and they thrive with it, and they're good. Like, and they have connections. I think that's the thing that say so, because, like Tim, I would say just like Tim. Some people look at him, he's a single guy. You know, he's gonna be 50, and he's alone. Yet the dude could be alone. He's okay, but he has connections.
He can talk to anybody.
Yeah, he can talk to anybody,
Yeah.
but the biggest thing is he has connections, and it's that emotional connection that you can have with another person and with God. You can have that, and that never makes you feel alone. You could be alone but never feel alone, and knowing that even if that feeling comes on, that you know, like, I'm not alone, and that helps you. Now, I think when you're grasping that, if you could tell me if I'm wrong or right, I want to make sure I understand right too as well, is that can somebody just be always going that way, to always feeling lonely? Is that what you're trying to say? Gravitate towards that?
It's like it finds you, like it just always just finds you.
Yeah.
You just, no matter what you do, are you, I guess,
acceptable
are
to
people destined for loneliness?
No,
you know?
the answer is no. And just to say this, because we're not meant to be alone. We're not supposed to do life alone. Now, like Tim, he could go off and be by himself for a little bit, but he comes back to connecting. Like, he's always connecting. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. And my friend, the girl you said, she would talk about this one girl, and she moved from Richmond to Boston, and she's trying to start over, and she had one of the most things that stuck with me forever. She goes, crazy follows crazy. She thinks she's going to escape the craziness here. She's just going to find it there. And I do with it, and it relate to what you're saying. If somebody can then try to move on or what, it's the hurt. That if the hurt is not expressed, healed properly, you're always going to drawing to, like, find yourself always feeling lonely. I mean that like you said, it's always like you're always or lonely. Like even if you change, you went from being in the country to being in a city surrounded with people. If that hurt is not taken care of, you're still gonna feel lonely. No matter what your best efforts are, and you try to do, you're still gonna feel lonely. And then you might have a moment of feeling great. It's like taking a drug that helps the symptoms.
Alright, I'll be right back.
But it's like taking a drug to help the symptoms. You feel great for a moment, but then there's a moment of it when that drug wears off. You're right back. It's like alcohol. Now I don't mind, like you said, we can talk about this sometime and stuff like that. But we'll drink a glass of wine and stuff. It's about how you use the alcohol, and if you're using to cover up crap, once the alcohol leaves, it's going to be there. And I feel like the same way about loneliness. The pain of loneliness is that even if you move, you might get a sensation that's not there, but as soon as that sensation is gone, it's going to be there. It's like no different with any other types of hurt.
Yeah.
And it's about how we handle it.
Yeah. It definitely, going back to some of the challenges we're still facing and still going through, and one of those with friends, no longer here. And there's times I feel like, gosh, will I ever have a group of girlfriends, and like how I remember being younger and there was a group of girls, like we would always like hang out and do really silly stuff, stupid stuff. But it's like we had fun. But now that I'm older, I really see the value in relationships and friendships, and it's like I desire it, but for some reason it may be many reasons, and maybe I just won't understand all of it right now, but it's like, that's why I asked, like, can you be destined for loneliness in a sense when it comes to certain things? Because it definitely feels like maybe I'm just not meant to have a group of friends like that. Because, and then being in the position, how as people, you're a pastor's wife. People, for some people, are terrified of that. They see you, they look at us on live stream. It's like, I can't. They feel like they can't connect or can't relate, and it's like, it's so frustrating.
Do you remember you had a group of friends that hung out with you, and when we got engaged, they just left you?
It was the strangest thing.
It was the strangest thing. They totally just left you. And I think I'm going to put that there because Tim said something. He goes, how about losing connection with other Christians because of drawing closer to God and trying to understand Him more? And I totally get that, because when that happened, we were drawing closer.
Yeah.
And so I can liken this on that. And how they just left you. And it's like, that's not how, I think there's a two-way street in that. When we're talking about this, drawing closer, I think if we draw closer, we shouldn't turn our backs on people. I think that's what we end up trying to do. Like, I'm drawing closer to God, so I'm gonna turn my back on you. And no, and
do no evil, see no evil.
Yeah, so I am hurting people, and it's funny that I am being lonely.
Yeah.
But let's then talk about that. The vice versa, because you can look at Paul, and Paul was like that. Because Paul drew closer, some people didn't like him anymore. The people he ran with, like in the Pharisee squads and stuff, it's funny, squads, they turned their back on him, and he lost that connection. Yeah. And I think that we get jealous of people, and I think that happens. Like, I think people get jealous of you. Yeah. And I think it sucks being in that position because you get hurt. Yeah. Because it happens. Like when the guy has the cutest girlfriend, and his guy friends, like, sometimes you'll see that turn. Like, what happened to you? Yeah, like, what happened to you? You're in a group of single women, all friends, and you're the first one to get engaged and get ready. A year later, get married, and they just like, you can no longer be part of this. We're jealous of you in a sense, And it's what came about, and it's like, that's not how we should be.
Yeah.
Because we end up hurting people into loneliness. And that hurts. It really does hurt.
Can we talk about real quick?
No, we can't, but it's okay.
Maybe not real quick, but when one is losing religion, and we can relate to this because we grew out of some stuff we were doing.
I think we continue to grow out stuff.
Yeah. So when you and we definitely, like you said, we were learning more about God and who he truly was, and his heart. And there goes some of our friends that way as we're going this way, and we realized that some of the stuff we were doing was kind of religious.
Yeah.
And when you leave that, you do. I do think you can experience that.
Yeah, because
that loneliness in a sense.
Because I remember that it's crazy, because I think that goes right with what he's saying too as well. It's another dynamic. And I want to say this: if you think that you have totally gotten out of religion, go look in the mirror. And it's just stuff there. I mean, that's just religion is this. I'm going to do what I feel is right and wrong for relationships. If I'm going to say that this is the priority and you have to be like this, I'm determining. And let's just break it down. If you think you have totally got it, you haven't. And it's okay, but there's parts of it, we often celebrate those. But remember that you haven't arrived yet, and that's okay. It's a journey. So with that, as you got talking about, but I think you're right. There was a moment there when we stepped out, and I can tell you it was hard for us because they turned, but it was like they almost felt like this to me, because you're not with them anymore. You can't be no association, right? But then there's also the whole thing. Well, you're going closer. You must be doing some type of religion. You're being
cult.
You're being a cult.
Yeah, we're being a cult.
And it's like they didn't want to be around you because you might get converted. And it's like I don't want that.
Or your sin might rub off. Our sin might rub off on you.
Yeah, and it's not about that. It's about, I want to hang out with you because you're a human being and I want to connect. And that's what it's really about. And I think that's hard. I think in that position, it becomes hard. Like he's saying, you're drawing closer to God and you're getting to know him more. I think as we get to know him more, we being more friendly toward people, the fruit of the spirit and stuff, yada yada. But it's that you go around people without a purpose and to be around them other than just to be connected with them.
Yeah, and you find you can actually be around anybody.
Yeah, and so
you can talk to anybody.
Yeah, and that's the point. And so like we wanted to hang out around them, like we wanted to, but they didn't want to because they thought we were going. I'm like, we could think differently. Does not mean that we can't hang out and be friends. And I think that's one of the biggest things about it. It hurts. That hurts. Knowing that. And it hurts. But I would say this. I'll say this again. I'll keep preference it. If you go look in the book of Acts, 3,000 people plus. You can't sit there and tell me they all thought the same. You probably had 3,000 different ways of thinking. Yet they said they were in one accord. What was that one accord? It's to love. And to stay together no matter what. And that was what they were about. And you said that no matter, you had a different opinion, or you thought differently, you saw it differently, I'm not going to disengage from you. Actually, I'm going to engage with you more. And that even though we might not see eye to eye on that, that's okay. And I think that's a big thing that happens that creates loneliness and creates the hurt of being alone, because we have seen different eye to eye and we're like, I can't be around you. What do you see on Facebook? If you don't like it, please don't comment. Just go ahead and remove yourself from my page. And I'm like, that is so rude, because just because we have a different opinion doesn't mean that we can no longer be friends. And I think that's the problem. It creates loneliness. It creates hurt. I see a lot. And so I think, like you said, I think that kind of helps with that area a lot. And it does suck. That feeling sucks. Especially when you're like, I'm closer to you, Dad, and I have this crap.
Yeah, am I doing something
wrong? Yes. We're going to touch on it again, but Mr. Rogers' documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor, we're going to
I'm so scared this is going to fall off.
No, it's not
here.
fun. It's
Wow.
a thing. But the documentary, what did it say later in life? He questioned loving. He did. And it's so funny, his wife was there, though. You know what's so funny about that? She encouraged him to keep going with it. Mm-hmm. And I want to take that preference there and go, what's so funny in moments that feeling maybe disconnected from him? I find in my heart that he reminds me that he's right there. Because he does say, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And that means abandonment of relationship. He will never abandon a relationship with you. And that, of course, it's one of the Greek, it's one of the most strongest words ever. Because it's never, never, twice. Never, 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 never. It means absolutely nothing. Will make him abandon a relationship with you. That means he's there. And that reminder, because we have the Spirit within us, even though we don't feel him, he's there though. He will remind you. He'll let you know. But I think with that too, when we have a disconnect here, he's going to remind you he's there. But we think that he's going to just remind you. And I think the feeling is, I can just do all by myself, just me and Jesus, that's it. No. Because I find that the Holy Spirit in those moments draw me to a person.
Yeah, he operates within, you'll find out that he operates within community.
They got their phones and stuff. Their stuff is charged up.
All right,
yeah.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, I think, like, Tim, you hit out of the park on this one too. You nailed it. Some people can see you drawing close to God, but they can get jealous because they think they cannot do the same because of their sin, lack of time, religiosity. So thank you for the big words, Tim, and etc. And I totally agree. And I think
they don't look a certain way.
And I think in those moments, when it hurts, I think one of the biggest things in those hurts, we can then go, well, F you. And I think in the moments, like when he, like I said, when he will remind us that we're there, and like it can feel like, oh, it's just me and you, Jesus, and we're Dad, Holy Spirit, I'm good to go.
All I need is God.
But what he would do, like I said,
yeah.
he would. But I think the funny thing is he'll then draw you to someone, and I find that he will draw you to these people who are jealous, and draw you to them to basically no, like and that drawing can help cause them to say, I can draw closer too. You get what I'm saying? And I find that
change of mind can
what are they doing? They fighting now?
Grace, it's right there. If you want your thing, it's right there at your feet.
Nora wants the blanket.
Okay, let her. You both have the blanket
Nora
too.
wants the blanket.
You both have the blanket. Okay.
She don't let me have my cold.
It's okay, Nora. Let her have a blanket too, honey. Mama. Step into the women round table. I mean, I think that I find it to be interesting is that, in those moments it could literally feel like, oh, me and Jesus just can do it ourselves. But what I find is that Holy Spirit can really just draw, for me personally, draws me closer to those people who turn their back, and not just them, but also draw me closer to people who are lonely. Like I said, I think the biggest thing I am encouraging the girls about as well, our girls, is to look for the other kids who are alone. And I said they want to play too, just no one has asked them, and they look lonely and stuff. Sister rivalry going on over there. But I find it to be interesting that in this month we do get drawn closer to people, and we want to, especially the people, not just people who have somebody going on, but to somebody who doesn't, who may feel alone. and like you were almost like the good shepherd bringing a lost sheep into the fold. Not saying that they were lost per se, but say, hey, you're still connected to the fold. We're in this together.
I think that's the good news. You can still be who you are and who God made you to be.
Yeah.
Although feelings are important, but despite the feelings, your situations and circumstances that you're in are important. But despite those things, there is something that still remains the same and is constant, and it's Him and what He's promised.
Yeah, and I do believe this. A lot of times when we get hurt, we will think there's no one there. I'm talking about personally, as a human being, and a lot of times what we find out, there is.
Yeah.
If let's take it for our instance. Of all the stuff we've been going through, when it comes to this area, Tim, who would have thought us would, like just looking outside, we'll be all great friends. George, like there is people there, and it's funny how that happens. As much as we can, and I think that's where Dad goes, it's okay to feel that way. And He wants you to, it's okay to feel. Let's make sure we get that. It's okay to feel. It's okay to express it. It's about how to express it. That He teaches you how to express those things. He wants you. He's okay. Basically, he's a great father, and He goes, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to express it to me. And what Him doing is helping you to open your eyes to see that there's somebody there. If it's just one person.
I think sometimes with that, when we feel alone and we're going through things that we don't like or doesn't feel good, we're looking for someone. If we want someone to be there, we're looking for someone that's pretty much exactly like us.
Yeah.
That's going through the exact down to every, but in reality, our situations are unique.
Oh, girls. Okay. You want help?
Yeah.
Jeez. Our kids are having fun. But yeah, I totally agree, and I do believe that, man. There's people always around us for the most part, and like I said, there is times when there isn't. But I do believe that sometimes the pain clogs our vision and clogs our perception of what's around us, and a lot of times we realize, like I said, Tim came in at such a unique time where we experienced a great loss then. And he was there. I'm not just talking about what we talked about last week, the baby, but right before then, of relationships. And he was right there. And I think that's so coincidental, it's so amazing. And then there was another time within that year when we connected with George. And what's so funny is those relationships have been at the same time. It's kind of funny. They were only like months apart. They became connected. Yet they're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they both, which is so amazing, allow you to express. And vice versa. And to me, that was beautiful. Even though we were still dealing with the loss and the hurt of the other stuff, that right there helped to bring healing. And to allow you to then keep moving in what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing, like, to say that I think that's to help us understand, like, when there's a personal loss or loneliness feeling and hurt from that, there's other people there 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But
it's so easy to think that
you're not.
That
alone.
there is no one there.
Yeah.
Because the person might not look the way you want them to look.
Yeah.
Or the situation, some of maybe they're sharing with you how they can relate to your situation, and it's like, well, it's not exactly the same. So therefore, no.
Correct.
I am alone. I truly am alone. So,
And let's go with God. He's there. Whether you want him or not, he's there. You don't always feel him. And I get that, and that makes that connection not feel there. Or you're going through troubled times, a difficult part of your life, and because it has not changed, it can feel like there's a lost connection. But I think the biggest thing is, like I said, that moment that he told me that he was there, even like the moments in my life, and it was like we started going backwards in life, and he was there. I was telling you about the apartment I had, a monument. He was there, and I spent a lot of lonely times there too as well. He was there, and I was actually never alone. And realizing that helps me. I mean, that is my personal notes for me. Yeah, I can read. Yeah, he never leave me nor forsake me, which is beautiful. It is great. But knowing for me personally, those moments that he revealed to me that he was there, I'm solidified in those moments that things don't feel like he's there. He's there, and it's a reminder, like, yeah, he's there. And I get it. I get that feeling. I get the pain that you start to feel because of that. I get that totally when it comes with him in that area. But like I said, that for me personally is funny because you're supposed to hang on to scripture. That's my scripture, if you want to say. And that personalness with him, to know that, has just made my world.
yeah.
So we're gonna have to start wrapping up a little bit. This has been good, been great. We could ask you to keep asking questions. If you have a lot of questions and stuff, you can keep commenting on this, and we keep going. Tim will probably be on there a lot longer than we will be today at this moment, but we'll be out there throughout the week and stuff. But we want to leave you two things. It's okay to feel that you are alone. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way, because there's a legitimate reason why you feel that, and so it's okay. But know that in essence, you're not alone. And the loss of relationships, there's a reason why you're feeling lonely, because there's other hurts that's happened, and with that, and people, relationship loss, like connection loss, and so you're not alone in any of that. The good news is that he's with you, and he feels the hurt too. Feels the hurt. Even with him, he doesn't want you, like, even the feeling that you think that disconnected, he wants to remind you, and he will, that there isn't a lost connection between you two.
And continue to shower you with his goodness.
Yeah, correct. And so, just know that you're not alone. And I encourage people, when you have that in you, like, you start to realize you're not alone, especially with him. I encourage you to get on that desire that you have to not let other people feel alone, and go after it, man. Go full steam with it, and obviously let the Holy Spirit lead you to getting there. But like I said, go full steam with him in that, and be with people, because that fact is, because none of us ever want to be alone. We don't. The movie Crash is a beautiful example. They talk about crashing into each other, because we end up always keep crashing into each other, and because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be alone. And it scares us to be alone.
It also hurts because we don't quite understand each other.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have I think there's a lack of compassion.
Yeah.
To understand, to try to understand.
Yeah. And I think this,
which leads to feeling lonely.
It's the most scariest things to be alone. And if you look at it, I love the scripture, love the letters, because a lot of the letters always emphasize there's never lost a relationship with him, and that means he's there with you. It's one of the biggest take. Emmanuel, God is with us. That's a relationship term. And that means he's there physically, yes, but also relationally, yes. And that's huge. That means that connection. Like you said, it's okay if people are around you and you still feel lonely because there's no connection. And so God's not just with you, he is connected with you. And that's a big, big deal. So I think there's a couple things you can hang your hat on. Those are a couple of things you can hang your hat on. Like I said, we do a Q&R. We can do a Q&R as you have questions, and so we'll put it all together and stuff too as well.
Questions and responses.
Yeah. So if you want to lead this out today, because I've been doing a lot of talking. Or you got anything else you want to lead it with today? Before you can, if you watch the podcast and stuff, you can be a contributor to the podcast financially if you like to. It is what it is. It's whatever you feel. It's whatever you feel. If you listen to the podcast, there's a link there. It takes you right to Anchor, which then you can make a contribute. I think the most you can contribute monthly is $10.
Okay.
So that's not bad. So if you want to do that, like I said, all the money comes into helping us to make this better, a better experience, so we can actually reach more people and make it easier, more interactive as much as possible. But also then too as well, when things are taken care of, situated, that we use it to help others and stuff. I think we will love to do more stuff in the community and be able to use that financialness to bless people with and stuff. George actually mentioned something about that yesterday, and we kind of triggered something there, and it's kind of like, okay, that'd be great if we were able to have that financially. I mean, why couldn't we just book up this barbershop one day, and so that everybody comes in and just gets free haircuts? That'd be great. That'd be something we can do too as well. So if you want to lead us out on something real quick.
Well, it's, some of us are probably still feel lonely, and this isn't about, let me,
Yeah, a little last drop.
we're not doing this to try to eradicate. We're not doing this to try to fix you, or even fix ourselves, because we really can't. We can only just we can just share and allow Dad to do what he does best. And even in the sharing, like he leads you to share. He can lead you to do anything.
Yeah.
So when going forward with we have more Q&Rs, questions and responses. It's open, and it's about sharing your journey and where you are and how good God's been to you, or maybe you don't think He's all that good. Like, I don't want people to think you have to be a certain way, or you have to, just be you and just share. That's really what it's about. But my hope is that we realize more that we're not alone, and that we learn to trust Him through it all, because it's very living in this world and all the crazy things that are going on. You can definitely feel like you're by yourself, and that no one understands you, no one gets you, no one sees you. So it's a wonderful thing to realize more and more that you're not alone, and that you do have support, and you do have hold on a second.
Hold on, baby.
You do have someone. So, and it's so funny how Dad has brought. We've had friends walk away from us, but then we've had people walk into our lives, and it's just amazing how Dad can work things out for good. So yeah. What's the next one?
Discrimination and victimization. Being a victim. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a big one. So yeah.
Yeah, and also we if you hear us talking to our children, like
we clear our kids and all those.
We are family friendly. I would love one day for one of them to come and sit in this chair, and we just talk. Like, when we encourage you, if you come in to physically sit down, like, bring your family. So it's just talking.
But with that,
Yeah.
we'll end it. We always get to kick off to our music. This is what we do.
That works.
Yes. With that, we hope that you have an amazing week. Know that we love you, and most importantly, he loves you too as well. So, I hope you enjoy your day. He's now away too as well. Peace.